Now moving on a little bit to the ongoing threat of China, and a former director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe, is slamming China as America's #1 adversary and top national security threat as major U.S. companies continue to do business with the country. Now joining us right now to talk about all of this is the author of The Coming Collapse of China, Gordon Chang. Gordon, good morning.
Good morning, Alex.
Well, so great to have you here. Now, first off, the Senate Intelligence Committee is warning of increased threats from China, such as cyber attacks against the U.S. companies, malign influence, and stealing billions of dollars in U.S. intellectual property. Are we doing enough as a nation to address these threats?
Clearly not, because every year China steals somewhere between $3 to $4 to $600 billion worth of U.S. intellectual property each year. Director John Ratcliffe last December in a Wall Street Journal op-ed put the number at nearly 500 billion. So this occurs year in, year out, administration in, administration out. Clearly, we're not doing enough. Matter of fact, we're doing virtually nothing right now.
Well, Beijing is now calling for a World Health Organization investigation into an outlandish conspiracy theory linking the origin of the coronavirus to the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Disease in Maryland. Now, do the people of China really think this is true?
That's a great question because I don't think that they do. Although the propaganda has been relentless and been malicious, and it's been going on now for more than a year, I think people understand that this really did start in Wuhan. Even nationalist Chinese, I think, believe that. Though it's really hard to say because this is a sensitive topic and Beijing is not letting voices other than those that it likes to talk to the outside. But no, I don't think that the Chinese people believe this.
Well, last week, Nike CEO John Donahoe made a very bold claim about the company's business dealings with China. I want to get your take on this. Take a listen first.
We take a very long-term view in China. We're continuing to invest in China, and we'll continue to invest in China while also operating a very responsible global supply chain.
Now, after hearing that, is this dangerous messaging coming from one of the biggest U.S. brands?
Well, certainly, because we're fueling China's rise. We're fueling China's military machine, which is configured to kill Americans. And so, yes, there's a China threat, but it's because we invest in China, we trade with China, we have technical cooperation agreements with China. Now, we heard Jamie Dimon yesterday talk to Maria Bartiromo and said, look, we do not set U.S. national security policy. And he's right. And I think that what we need to hear from the White House is that this is no longer acceptable. Because if we go back, let's say a year, Nike was actually running through a Korean subcontractor basically a concentration camp where Uyghur slaves were making shoes for the brand. So his statements need to be put into that context when he talks about supply chain integrity. I'm sure they're not doing that anymore, but the point is they did it when they thought they could get away with it. And if they think they can get away with it again, Alex, they'll start up again.
Well, now China is warning that the U.S. could face countermeasures following President Joe Biden's approval of the $750 million arms sale for Taiwan. What can our nation expect from these new warnings from China?
We can expect more warnings and more warnings after that. But Beijing will not move against Taiwan as long as they think the United States and others will defend it. And right now, I do think that China is deterred, but we know deterrence is breaking down. We know deterrence is breaking down because in the middle of March, China's top 2 diplomats came to Anchorage and actually told us that when they said that the United States could no longer talk to China from a position of strength. So we need to change that perception in Beijing. And if we do that, then Taiwan will be safe. And yes, we should be selling arms to Taiwan. And yes, we should be trading with Taiwan more vigorously. And yes, we should have a mutual defense treaty with Taiwan if Taiwan wants it.
Now let's talk a little coronavirus. Now, another wave of the coronavirus is reportedly hitting 17 provinces in China. Honestly, how bad is it getting in China?
I think that it's extremely bad. It started, Beijing said, with a plane from Russia on July 20. Since then, it's hit more than half the provinces. They show low case totals, but we know that they're not telling the truth because they're locking down important cities, including parts of Beijing. So this is now spread across the country. And also, we are hearing no triumphalist propaganda from Beijing on coronavirus anymore, which is a real indication that this has hit China extremely hard.
30 seconds left. Do you see us getting any closer to holding China accountable for the origins of COVID?
Yes, I do. But President Biden is going to fight this all the way because he does not want to talk about this subject. He doesn't want to confront China, but the American people are going to force him. And by the way, Alex, I think Chinese researchers are going to tell us what happened, and then punishment, imposing cost will be unavoidable.
Gordon Chang, thank you so much for all of your valuable insight. As always, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you so much, Alex.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.